All right, welcome everyone to Catapult Your Cash Flow is our expert series webinar that we're doing weekly where we're bringing in experts in different areas and fields that what I was able to do is to be able to offer additional resources to the people who are on my list who come onto the calls who support us in what we do and who we support in what they do. And I've been waiting for 4 months, I think, to be able to do this call, and I'm super excited about being able to do it. Tonight, I get to introduce you to somebody who's probably, not even probably, we all know that that's not true, the most important person in my life, and that's my son. And we have a little bit of a story and why he's here and how he gets to be here. And let's see, I want to bring up one sec. I'm going to go on here. So I'll put this on. I just love PowerPoint. Okay. Tonight we're going to be learning about how you can make $20,000 in 60 days or pretty much do anything that you want in your life. And Caleb is that person who on paper wasn't supposed to amount to very much, or at least that's what they told us, right? He is a kid that was failing school. He was 50 pounds overweight. He actually got arrested when he was 16 because he had some drug paraphernalia he was supposed to be getting rid of, and he wasn't so smart and tried to give it away and got caught. And that was kind of an eye-opener for me, being a single mom, and I wasn't paying attention. He was never a troublemaker. He never got into any trouble, but at 12 years old, he got diagnosed with ADD. So from failing school to untreated ADD due to a heart problem, he couldn't take meds. I ended up having to go back to school for ADHD coaching to try to help him. And he lost his dad when he was 12. His dad also died. And he just went through a whole lot of stuff. And being his mom, told him he was wonderful. And of course, in his mind, well, that's your job. You're supposed to think I'm wonderful. So he either didn't believe me or maybe he just thought I was the only one that could feel that way. But in less than 2 years, we decided, so as a mom, and this is why this is so important to me, if we've got any moms on here, so if there's any moms on here, send me a shout out, because as a single mom who had lost his dad, who was working really hard and spending all of their time traveling and just working, because I thought that's what I was supposed to do, was build something for him. Rather, I couldn't cook and clean, so I wasn't going to be at home doing that. But I'm that mom who felt guilty about having to buy the Chips Ahoy cookies from the gas station for the bake sale because I didn't have time to be the mom. Someone else taught him how to tie his shoe, and someone else pulled his first tooth. I missed out on everything. And then when he was diagnosed with ADD at 12 and his dad died shortly after that, it was kind of a wake up call for me that I needed to do something to get our lives straightened out. And I was probably 100 and some pounds overweight. I was really, really big at the time. And we wanted to be able to change our lives. And I set into motion. I used to think that I needed everyone else around me to change, but it wasn't until I started making changes on me that the other people started following suit. So about 2.5 years ago, I decided that I was going to go to a business event like we do all the time, like we put on ourselves now. And I went to this business event, and it was an event where they were going to teach people how to start a business. I was already a business coach. I knew how to do that, but I thought it was a really cool way for me to spend 3 days with my son and force him anyway. So I took him he got home that day and I said, son, we're going to Orlando for 3 days. He's like, yeah, okay. And I said, yeah, we're going to go to a business event. And he did not want to go. I said, no, look, went to school for business. He was never really motivated by much. And he was basically kicking and screaming. I'll probably let him tell a little bit more about that story in a second. But kicking and screaming to go spend the 3 days. And we had to come up with a business as a project. And in my opinion it's going to be 3 days that I can spend time with him. I can meet some potential clients. That way I don't have to choose between working on my business or spending time with my son. And I said, we have to come up with a fake business or whatever it is for you to work on when we're there for 3 days. And I wanted him to learn skills that I knew he would not learn in school. it's not stuff that they teach and even in business school. And we originally, he's always been very intuitive and a great listener and hung out with kids that were older than him. But we originally were going to create something like a Dear Abby for teen girls. And we came up with this idea called Caleb's Word and created a website. And I walked him through the same process as I would do any brand new client who was starting a business. We did the one-page 90-day business plan. We created a really affordable website for $12. I let him do the work so it doesn't look professional, or he didn't know what he was doing. Created a Facebook page. And the idea was Caleb's Word, which was an advice column or an advice site for parents to ask questions about their teen. And he didn't want to do it. He's like, oh, I don't want to do that. He didn't like to read. He didn't like to write. And I said, well, what if they sent you questions and all you had to do was answer one on a video each week? Well, okay, I could do that. I said, what if you just had $10 a month from parents to be part of this program and you only had 50 people on there? He goes, that's $500 a month. And I said, what would that be like? He goes, that's more money than I make at Dunkin' Donuts right now in a whole month. I said, I know. He goes, that's when I got his attention. And he says, okay, I'll try it. It wasn't supposed to be a long-term business or anything. It was just supposed to be for this project. And then we go to this event, and I'll let him tell the whole story about what happened at the event. But by the end of the weekend, he decided he was going to write a book. And so in less than 2 years, 18 months, he's written and published 3 books. He got his poop together. He was failing school at the time. He made his grades high enough to make the honor roll. He lost 50 pounds. He started modeling. And because of all of this, they offered him a TV show. It was a TV show called Teen Perspectives. He did in his senior year. He started speaking on stages just because he was around me. Then he started getting invited to charity functions and literally sold over 1,000 books one at a time, or 2 at a time to people like Sheila who's on the call, because he had a great special, right? And then he decided he was going to we got him a coach. You can't be your own child's coach. We got him another coach. He paid her from his money. And Trish Carr, I don't know if she's on the line, but we got him a coach, and he was very accountable to her. And truthfully, I never saw his book until it had to have the final edits. He did all of this himself, and I'm going to let him tell the story about how he did it. But I know that his 2 mottos are say yes and then figure it out. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. Because all of these things for me were, one, to be able to spend time with him where I didn't have to choose anymore between working my business or being with my son. And 2, he's obviously not going to get accepted to school from his SAT scores or his grades. So what other magic tricks can we pull off so he can get into college? All I wanted to do was for him to get into college. My purpose or passion was to help him get into college. And we did that. And it wasn't easy even then. But have you ever wondered why? Like, there's people out there who just seem to be able, when they touch something, that it just happens. So I think that I want you to please welcome me. And hold on, I'm getting ready to cancel the webinar by accident, which I don't want to do. Oops.
That wouldn't be good.
No, yeah, we don't want to do that. He's going to share tonight, where's this page right here, some of the tricks and the trades that he has done to be able to achieve certain things in his life. But tonight, some of the things that we want to talk about, and I want you to tell them your side of the story, because we know that especially when there's a mom involved, there's 3 sides: my side, your side, and then probably the truth. But we're going to ask him questions about his unique and simple duplicatable process that he used. And we started it from the beginning when he launched his business, also to when he went to Dallas, which we'll tell you more about, and then how to develop and live by your own motto, because there's so many times we feel like we're not fitting in or not fitting in more what we think we're supposed to be doing, how to stay focused even when your brain and body shuts down, and there's a story behind that, how to find your vision and when to say to heck with everyone else, what not to do when you're working towards a goal, and that one question to ask yourself in everything you do, and then to share a little bit about how to write a book in less than 3 months, even if you can't pass the SATs. So I'm honored and grateful that everybody's here, but um, please join me in welcoming the love of my life for 19 years, my son, Caleb Sessions, who's a teen author, entrepreneur, and speaker. Welcome, son. Thank you for being here.
How's it going? I'm super excited to be on here and definitely share what's been going on to everyone. I haven't really seen anybody in a long time. I haven't talked to anyone, and looking forward to just sharing some things that hopefully can help some people tonight.
Well,
But thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you for doing it. I know that there's like so many freshmen, so little time that getting you on a call was really tough. I tried to get you on a call a couple of times over the summer and you were too busy. And I'm just really glad that you came on as my guest. I mean, this is great. So thank you for being here. I do want everybody to know that we'll open it up for questions as well at the end of the call, and we will be done by 8 o'clock also. So what what are you doing now? I think before you went to Dallas, tell everybody the story about the event and how you got started and kind of what's transpired over the last 2 years and what brings you up into this point. Could you do that, please?
Okay. Okay. Well, like she was saying earlier, things weren't looking good for me. Back probably when I was 15, 16, I was overweight, got arrested, failing school. Then she took me to this event. I had to basically create my own business, and they were going to teach you how to sell and ask for the money. And came up with the idea, Caleb's word, on basically answering answering questions that parents sent me weekly in a video blog. Turns out that didn't really stick. But someone there, actually Dr. Jeff Kane, I don't know if he's on the call or not, but he gave me the idea to write my own book called The 7 Days to Understanding Your Teen. I don't believe that was the exact name then. It may have been, but that was just the beginning.
They told you could write a book, and you came to me and says, "I think I'm going to write a book." And I was like, "You're going to do what? I can't even get you to take the trash out." And then I slapped myself. I said, "Wait a minute, you're a coach. You can't talk to him that way." Then you came up with it later on down the road, but it was about what?
Yeah.
What's the book about, really?
It was about giving perspective of what it's like to be a teen nowadays, or a teenager nowadays, so parents and adults and have a better relationship with their teenagers so they understand what it's like to be them. The things that we do, why we do things, the feelings behind it all, so that, everybody can be happy and have free-flowing communication. But with that said, I mean, even when I had the idea there, I didn't truly believe in myself. I actually had more people there believing in me more than I believed in myself, and I think that was the biggest thing is just having that support around me. But with that said, I had a bunch of people pushing me from that event on, and about 2 months later, I had the book published. I started selling a couple books here and there, and then people wanted me to start coming to their events and speaking at them. But then, long story short, I ended up selling over 1,000 copies of my book. That year flew by. I think somewhere in the middle of the year, Wayne came to me down at WRPBI TV down in Boca Raton, offered me my own internet television show called Young Perspectives that gave perspective of what it's like to be a millennial. Just kind of letting people know that, if I can do this, that anyone else can do this. And, things that are happening in today's life, sex, drugs, rock and roll, they're not alone. I mean, it happens to me, it happens to everyone. It's just letting people know that they're not alone and helping them get through things. But in the midst of that, I was applying to colleges. My GPA still wasn't that good. It had risen, and my grades weren't that good either, test scores. But I was applying to school, and then I ended up, remember we sent out that letter to USF saying who I was, who I've become, and then who I want to become.
I just think
And I had sent it to them, and I got a reply within 3 days of sending it to them, and I didn't even realize mail actually traveled that fast, and which was pretty crazy. But that's actually how I got out here, and then I get out here, and I'm going to school. It's awesome. I love college, and I started interning for a company called Speaking Empire, which I actually met at another event. They're, a seven-figure business teaching entrepreneurs how to publicly speak for their own business so they can make more money in their own business and, reach more people.
I'm going to be a mom.
Um,
How many times did they tell you not to say when you're speaking? Hopefully I've got some moms out there. You're saying too many times. You know that. You know better. Son. No. I'm just kidding. So let's go back a minute. What did you do? Because there's a lot of people out here. I think the statistics are 90 to 95% of people have a book inside of them. They want to write a book. What did you do that you think made it possible for you to write and publish a book? Because how many people out there, and put it in the chat, would like to write a book or already have a book or want to write another book?
Well, I think the biggest thing would be to have a basic idea of what you want to write about, and then ask other people what they want to hear about. Because that was the biggest thing, is that I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I figured how hard could it be to speak my own mind, because I am a teenager. That's what I'm good at. I mean, it's impossible to be bad at something that you have no choice at being. So I ended up going around asking a lot of parents, I don't know the exact number, of what they want to know about their teenager or what they would like to know about their teenager. And so I compiled a bunch of questions and broke it down into 7 chapters. I think it was 3 questions a chapter, so around 21 questions that are I guess you could say kind of generalized towards all the other ones that people had asked me. And then my goal from then on was for the next 2 months to answer a question every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Took about, I'd say 3 to 4 paragraphs, but after the 2 months, you have a book, and then, you add some commas, subtract some commas, add some spaces. My grammar kind of sucks, but, that's why you pay other people to figure that out for you, so.
So if you didn't like English, you didn't like reading, you didn't like writing, you didn't like school really, you were just starting to like girls, what did you do because I really stayed out of it because I didn't want to influence, because I knew that if I got involved, I would push you and then you may not do it. And I really stayed out of it. So how much time did you spend every day working on this book? And stop saying
It really it didn't I didn't have a specific amount of time every single day,
Mm-hmm.
but the biggest thing was just doing it and not getting out of it. So at least having some kind of contact with writing something every single day, because I knew that if I had missed a day, just like going to the gym, if anybody out there is trying to lose weight or trying to get fit, it's very, very easy to not go to the gym, but the one time you don't, it makes it a whole lot easier to not go the second time, and then third time, and the next thing you know, you haven't been to the gym in a month. And same thing with that. I just knew that I wanted to do it every single day, and I had a vision of, my vision wasn't that strong then, but it definitely grew, but I had a vision of just finishing the book, whether or not it went anywhere or not, but I actually had to fulfill orders because I had already pre-sold some copies, so that's why I was doing it originally.
So
next thing you know,
sell something and then you have to finish. Kind of, would that be a good idea to offer people?
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea, definitely. But on the other hand, I know there's tons of people that their head is in tons of different places, and if you know there's something that you want to pre-sell and you are going to do it. Don't pre-sell a bunch of things and then not do any of it. I mean, that's self-explanatory. I don't really have to explain that. But definitely know what you want to do. Just have a vision for something and just decide that you're going to do it. and just do it. And once you decide that something is going to happen, the universe will get out of your way.
Or get into your way and make it possible. So
However you want to
your
look at it.
visionary himself is before this event happened, you met Johnny Regan, and he's all about vision. So can you tell people who maybe, so this is really key what you said. I didn't really have a clear vision then, but I just started doing it. So one, how much of a vision does somebody really need before they start doing something? And then how did you determine or develop your vision, and what is that now?
Well, something that I recently found out, and I think I was talking about this with you, is, I mean, I think everyone daydreams out there. I mean, it may not always be about something that's positive, but if you daydream, then you have a vision for something. And when you have a vision about something that is going to get you somewhere, all you need is that little bit, and you just constantly think about it. I guess you could say that I have a very addictive personality. So when I get stuck on something, you can't get me unstuck from it.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely people who their mind is everywhere, I would say the biggest thing is just focus on one thing at a time.
One thing at a
And
time.
just take the next step. Just focus on one thing at a time and take the next step. But then there's also some people that are very, very passionate about one thing, and then just focus on that one thing, because it's very, very hard to be passionate about a bunch of things and be good at any one of them. So.
Mm-hmm. So don't have business ADD. So don't, if you're passionate about multiple things, do one at a time. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Right.
So, what do you think is the difference from when you weren't making good grades and we were told, well, he has ADD, can't take meds, and he's not good at school, and he's never going to amount to anything, and he most likely won't graduate from high school? And what is the difference between that person and what you were able to do? Because you're not like this. I think you're a rock star, but as far as on paper, you're not that like 6.0 GPA chemical engineer kid. What made the difference for you that you could tell either parents or teenagers out there that if you've been told like, yeah, you're never going to be a chemical engineer or a doctor. I always wanted you to be a doctor. You don't even like body fluids like boogies or anything. So that I knew that I was in trouble then. Um, but what makes that different?
Well,
What's the difference to help for people who who have been marked average or less than average? Marked, not that they are marked average or less than average, or procrastinate or get stuck or get
well,
distracted. Hmm.
I think that's the problem right there, is that people let themselves be marked, because it happened to me too.
Hmm.
Still happens, but it's up to you whether you let yourself get marked or not. People can tell you you're a piece of crap every single day and you can't amount to anything, but it's only you that is going to believe in yourself. Obviously, you want to surround yourself with people who are going to support you so that you can start forming your self-belief. But it's only you. There's only one thing that's going to get you somewhere and then keep you from being somewhere, and that's yourself. So if you truly believe that you're a piece of crap and you're not going to amount to anything, then you're not going to amount to anything. But if you just decide and you
So
you
when
decide and
did you believe that at
do
one
what?
time? Did you believe that at one time, and then was there a moment that you decided? I mean, what did you believe and what did you decide? I don't think I've ever really asked you this question up front. We talk a lot about a lot of stuff, but what did you used to believe and when did you decide and what did you decide?
I used I don't have a I don't remember an exact belief. I
Hmm.
guess I used to believe that I used to believe that I wasn't going to be anything more than, like a drug dealer when I was older or something like that. Um, and then I kind of just realized that that's not for me, obviously, when I got in trouble. Um, and then going to that event made me realize how much more potential there is for me out in the world. And then just not deciding that I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, but just deciding that things are going to be different no matter what.
No matter
And
what.
it's kind of like this place of wonderment. We've talked about this before. I'm sure there's a different definition for it, but the definition I give wonderment is I wonder what the next best thing is that can happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know exactly where I'm going, but I know I'm going in a good place. And when you can decide that you're going to a good place and you know, it's just a knowingness that you're going to be in a good place, then it's better than knowing that you're going to be in a bad place. I mean, it's literally just however you feel, whatever you think, whatever you know, whatever you decide is what you are and what you're surrounded by. So if you tell yourself, say, hey, you know, things are hard, I can't do this, I'm done, you know, then you're done. But if you say, hey, I'm going to figure it out, you know, I'm not worried, I'm going to figure it out. And I still see you sometimes. I mean, I still see you sometimes being all stressed out, and you know, everybody's stressed out. I think the biggest thing is just realizing that nothing is going to be easy, but you just have to know that everything is going to work itself out. It's going to work itself out. There's no other answer.
Going to work itself
It
out.
really is going to. And you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
it's all going to be okay no matter what. And then when you can take it up a notch and say, hey, everything is going to be okay, or everything is going to be great, and this is going to happen, I'm going to change my life for the better, I'm going to be in a good place, then it's going to happen. And I think the biggest thing that I learned the past couple months, because I was out in Dallas the past 4 months.
So let's go to that then. So
Selling.
you did your book. You started going to events over 18 months. You sold 1,000 copies. A lot of people just bought the book to support you. Some people read it. When you shared your vision, people started coming out of the woodwork to help and support. So you had a lot of support in this community. It doesn't hurt to have a mom who's a business coach, but you did the work. Like I didn't do the work for you. So then you were supposed to. We put on this big 3 day. We put on several 1 day events called Speak Sell Serve together in multiple locations, including St. Pete. And then we did. My dream was for us to do a big 3 day event together, which we did. Destin, you actually took it home on stage after Suzanne Evans, a $7 million got on stage after her. You rocked the house. I was so proud of you. I'm like, clearly you've been practicing. We did great. We had a big, we sold over $100,000 that weekend. And it was just, but other than that, the lives that we touched, I was listening to some of the testimonials the other day, and people were talking about how the event was real and that they felt like we cared about them. They felt like they were understood. They felt like they were home and they were in a place that they could really grow their business. And that included with you being there. And then we had the teen day. So all of this happened. We had a teen day. We had 26 teens show up because for me was so parents didn't have to choose to either go work on their business or spend time with their family. We let them bring their teens that Saturday, and you had your own teen program going, and y'all had a lot of fun. And some kids, 7-year-old decided he was going to write a book. So you're supposed to come home, and then you hit me with this bomb that says, I'm not coming home for the summer. And I'm like, wait a minute. I've just gained 10 pounds eating peanut butter M&Ms this whole year while you're gone, and you're going to do what? So let's tell everybody that story so we can get into this, what you did again and how we know that we duplicated a process. So once I got over the initial shock, then what did you do? Why'd you do it?
So, okay, so it was probably about a month before school ended. I was in the cafeteria. This is literally what happened. I was in the cafeteria, and someone was talking to my friend Issa, who is the leader of the entrepreneurship club, about some opportunity. And she was like, I'm really busy, I had all these things. It's fine. Oh, but you should talk to Caleb or CJ is what a lot of people know me out here as. And then I sat down and talked to him. His name was Josh, and I was with his friend Donnie, and they were talking to me, and they were saying how I had an opportunity, that it was going to be very, very hard. It wasn't going to be easy, but there's an opportunity to make a lot of money by going door to door and helping people and selling smart homes and working for a great company and all of these things. And honestly, it sounded too good to be true. And, it sounded like I thought it was going to be another network marketing company, to be honest with you. But it wasn't like that at all.
Lined up that you were supposed to come home and do social media for me and many clients. Why did you do this? What did you tell me? You said, I'm going to do this. Why?
I wanted to do it to prove it to myself, because I felt like that I had not really tested my limits. I kind of felt like these past 2 years, although I had reached new levels, I had really not reached the level that I wanted to reach, or that I had been looking to reach. And I wanted to prove something to myself. I wanted to learn how to sell without using my story, because all the books that I've sold, and I'm sure there's people on this call that have bought my book, they didn't buy my book because I sold them my book. They bought my book because they were inspired by my story. And that was the biggest thing, is I sold over 1,000 copies based on my story, but I wanted to learn how to go and sell without using any of my story. Obviously included if I can, which I did near the end, but I wanted to learn how to sell without using a story. I learned how to sell a product. So anyways, I worked for a company by the name of Vivint. You guys may have heard of this. We're on a Undercover Boss. We were on the season finale. We're about a $5 billion company now. But we do the smart homes, the lights, locks, cameras, thermostats you can do from your smartphone. It's kind of funny because, I wouldn't even been able to give you that information 4 months ago because I didn't know much about it. So I went out there and I told myself, I said, look, if I can, because it's a door-to-door job. If I can sell door-to-door, then I can sell anything. If I can do door-to-door sales, then I can do anything that I want to do, because I know for a fact that that's one of the hardest things that you can do. And I know that I've even heard stories about, great successful people like Mark Cuban and Richard Branson. They all started doing door-to-door sales. Like Mark Cuban sold garbage bags door-to-door was the first thing that he did, really. And then I don't know what Richard Branson sold, but I realized if they could do that, and how hard could it be to sell smart homes, I guess you could say. And it turns out people love this stuff. But I realized out there, so I went out there with really high expectations. Do what?
When I finally said, I can't fight this, I can't manipulate him from going, my whole summer shot, and I have to be a coach, not a mom, then what did you do? How did you prepare yourself to set yourself up for success?
How I prepared myself? The people that had recruited me, who knew what they were doing, I made sure to talk to them every night. There's no doubt about that. But remember when I was talking about how you had to make the decision? I had made the decision that I was going to figure this out. I was going to do it. I was going to become successful at it. But the biggest thing that I realized just recently that I had done, and I think everyone should do, is to let go of form. And just decide that you're going to get somewhere, and the universe will get out of your way and it's going to happen. But let go of form. Let go of what it looks like, how it's going to happen, how you're going to get there. Just if you're 100% positive and no one else can affect it, that you are going to get there, it's going to happen. It might look kind of funny or it might be really, really hard getting there, or it might not make any sense how you got there, but if you're 100% sure that you are there and that you're going to get there, then it's going to happen. And I obviously set goals for myself, which I didn't reach, but that also goes into the second thing. Don't set goals that you think you can reach. I know might be something that no one's ever heard before, but I had a realistic goal, and then I had a stretch goal. So my realistic goal, I think I had coming out to be 40, but my stretch goal was 100 sales. So 100 sales within the 4 months, but I ended up with 40 sales over the whole month, and it was 500 a piece, so I ended up making 20 grand. But I went out there not knowing a single thing about anything, but I was so sure that I was going to figure it out. I was just so confident that I was going to figure it out that I eventually did. I went for a month and a half without selling anything, not having any money, nothing. And then the first week that I had started selling something, I sold 6 my first week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest thing was just being patient and just pushing through and not stopping before the goal. I know you've heard this is someone's quote. I don't know whose it is. It's don't give up 3 feet before the goal. And I'm sure maybe you've seen the picture of the guys digging in the mine, and then they're digging and digging and digging, and they're sweating, and the gold's right on the other side, but they're like, look, it's hot. Let's go get some lunch. I'm done with this, and they leave, and they're 3 feet from the gold. I think the biggest thing was just to push through all the BS. Whenever you feel yourself telling yourself that you can't do this, this is hard, I don't want to do this right now, you just got to know that you're right there. You're just right there. Because I know that there was even days that I'd gone all day without a sale, and it was 9:30 at night, but I was still sure that I was going to get a sale. And what do you know? I knock on someone's door, and they let me in their house at 10 o'clock at night. And those are the sales that I'm going to remember. That's the thing. And I think another thing that really helped me out was if you guys had listened to my talk back at the event, what month was that?
March.
Back in March. I had said there's no such thing as failure. Now, and then I realized that not everyone can resonate with there's no such thing as failure because, not everyone resonates with it, I guess you could say. But something that I just wrote down, I realized, is fail forward and realize that every failure, even though there's no such thing as failure, but if you want to look at it as failure, undesired results, every piece of failure, is a stepping stone to the next best thing that's going to happen to you. So if you fail forward, just like, not selling or knocking 100 doors and all of them saying no, you're just one no away from a yes. It's literally just a stepping stone to a yes. Or it's, if you're in your business, I'm trying to think of a good example. Just fail forward. Just know that every time you have a hardship in your life, you're that much closer to what you want and what you're going to get.
Really?
And in case you didn't hear that part, the biggest thing is understanding or knowing that you are going to get it too. Not just being like, I think I'm going to get that. Because if you think, then thinking can be swayed. But if you make the decision that something's going to happen, nothing is going to stand in your way but yourself. So that's why you need to decide, not think. That sounds weird. Not what's the right word for that? Not guess or
Get in the way for that.
not a maybe. There's no maybes. There's a yes or no or a do or don't.
Well, question. So before you left, I sat down and we had dinner and I did a strategy session with you like I do with all my clients. And I asked you the questions that I do with them is if you can wave a realistic magic wand at the end of this 4 months, what would you have? Why? What would that do for you? How would that make you feel? What would potentially get in your way? What's it going to be like when you reach your goals? And we went through this whole session and some of the goals that you said is, and frankly, son, I thought you were crazy when you told me this, but I didn't say that. I was a coach, not a crazy mom. And by the way, those of you who are on the call, we've learned our relationship is, mom, I need a coach right now, not crazy ass mom. So I'm like, hold on, because I'll start, la, 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 I'll get all like into mom mode. And I said, hold on, I got to put coach hat on. Because as a mom, you go into, well, you need to do that and you need to do this. And we get into protective mode, which is what we want to do, but I have to stop. And it's so hard to stop sometimes from being a mom. But you said, and you'll tell me, I need coach right now, not crazy ass mom. And I said, okay, hold on, let me get rid of crazy ass mom. So in the strategy session we did, you said, and this is because after that 30 days that you made $10,000 in 30 days, you were ready to quit. And I said, wait a minute, hold up. I said, you're talking to the wrong person. You've got 30 days left to go and you're ready to come home. I've gained 15 pounds from eating peanut butter M&Ms. I'll buy you a ticket to come home right now because you were working 6 days a week, 14 hours a day, walking the streets in Dallas. You had the cops called on you a few times, even though you were legal. People got to a place where they'd call the police and the police would say, oh yeah, that's Caleb. He's good to go. We know what he's doing. He's asked permission to be there. And I said, look, these are the goals. This is what you said. And I went back and read it. You said I want to make between 10 and 50,000. You wanted to learn how to sell without um, using your story,
Using my
which I have to teach people how to use their story to sell, and you're trying to do the opposite. You wanted to create this is what you said, if I can remember correctly. I want to create a system for myself that I know, like with my schedule and my time blocking to work out and to manage my life and my sales. So that way, when I get back, I can duplicate it. And you said this before you went to create, whether I go and create a business or use it for school or whatever, and I can share with other people. You also said, I need to know that I can do this on my own without my mom or other people around, something I can create. And I said, at this point, son, it looks like you've met all the goals. Did you do this? Did you do this? You had met all of those original goals. And I was like, this is great. I was trying to celebrate with you. And this is such a pivotal moment for me when you said this. And I said, so what do you think about that? You just reached all your goals. And this was, remember, you had 30 days left and you wanted to come home. You were tired. And what did you say to me when I said, you just met all your goals? What do you think about that? What did you say back? Do you remember?
like I'm not happy with it, I think is what I said.
Said,
I'm not
what
happy.
I think is
Something like that.
that you said I should have been more specific because you had set goals that were just wherever, and now you had met these goals and you still weren't happy with it. So it's the form, I think, that piece. So what I said to you then is, you know what, I'll buy you a ticket to come home if you want, but this is what you can do. And literally we totally planned this, and I tried to inspire him. And as a mom who wanted him home right then, I'd been 3 months already without him. It's the longest time I've been away. But as a coach, I said, son, you're 19. You just made $10,000 in the last 30 days. Most grown-ups can't even say that. And you can come home now and we'll have a parade if you want. I don't care. Everything's good. However, if you could just do exactly what you just did the last 30 days in 30 days, the next 30 days, if you could just duplicate it, you don't have to do any more or any less, exactly what you did, and you can document it.
Well, I had done it over probably about 2 months, and I had done the same exact thing that I did over 2 months in 1 month. So I had doubled my I guess you could say results. I don't know if that's the right word, but
So we said if you could just duplicate this, what you just accomplished, in the next 30 days, you can come back and share with people. I said, as a 19-year-old, it will hold you up in a higher light with a speaking empire. You'll be able to connect with more successful people. People will have more respect for you, especially in this industry that we're in the speaking industry, because right now you're a teen who wrote some books. Not that I'm discounting it at all. And that you can do that. Also, you'll make double the money. I said, you may not even have to create the program. You come back and you can give this to people. You could create programs, you could do talks, you could inspire people and teach them how to do this. I said, or you know what, you can come home and you've already made 10 grand. It's great. Most people don't ever do that. Or you could go back next summer and make 30 grand in a few months and be even more successful than you are now, but you'll be 20. You won't be a teenager anymore. So the choice is yours. You can do this now the next 30 days. Duplicate what you just did. Make another $10,000. Create this system. Come back and share with people. Inspire other people. Teach kids, teach adults, people who don't think that they can do it, who've never hit that point before. Or you can come home. I'm good with that. I'm tired of eating M&Ms and M's, and I'll buy a plane ticket, right? And what did you do? So now tell me what you did the next 30 days.
so I had realized that I had achieved my goals that I had set for myself, and I started feeling this apathy. And then we had kind of talked about it, like you were just saying, and
Tell
I
me
realized what I
what
needed
apathy
to
is.
do, and I'd set new goals for myself. I wanted to get 20 more sales within the next 30 days, which I thought was very doable. Um, And so I realized that I'm like, okay, well, whatever the math came out to be, I only had to get like 5 or 6 a week or something like that. And that's what I did. And I had actually reached my goals 4 days before the final date that I wanted to be at. And I had actually finished the summer, I think it was at 45 sales or something like that. And then I had a couple cancels, so it ended up coming out to be what I wanted my goal to be. So I guess it's good that I had that buffer, like we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing was just realizing that 95, if not more, 95% of the world, they live within their comfort zone. And I was living out of my comfort zone, but I had created a comfort zone for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to begin to live in my comfort zone. And I realized that in order for me to be happy as a human being and feel accomplished, I need to continuously be outside of my comfort zone. And once I had reached those 20, actually, once I had reached like 15, because I was so close to my goal, it started getting within my comfort zone. And I was like, this is easy. This is, I got this kind of mentality. And then I realized once I hit that, I was like, look, I need to set new goals. I need to set something that's going to make me uncomfortable, something that's going to push me. And I had done that, and I had actually overshot it. And I guess, we do have to wrap it up, but there's one last thing that I wanted to say is, no matter what your business is right now, you might get mad at me for this one, Mom, or you might think it's great. I don't know. But I guess the biggest thing is something I wrote down. I said, don't waste time with the time wasters. And what I mean by that is there's tons of people that are going to blow smoke up your butt, tell you, this, that, this, and that. And you can just kind of have a feeling if they're going to waste your time or not. But on the other hand, so don't waste time with time wasters, and you'll just know when they're going to waste your time. Some people just enjoy wasting other people's time, in my opinion. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I don't really care. So some people truly enjoy wasting time, and some people truly love blowing smoke screens or blowing smoke up other people's butt. With that said, some people, they would I had people come up to the door, and they would answer the door. Before I even say anything, I'd be like, yeah. They're like, I'm not interested. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And then I just go into it. They're like, I'm still not interested. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, just so it makes sense what we're doing out here. Not interested. Okay, that's fine. Oh yeah, is it cool if I come inside real quick? And then they don't say anything, but they just open the door and they're like, yeah, I don't want to do this right now. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. It's not something we have to do right now. And I wasn't lying to them. It's not something we have to do right now, but I still just continued to go forward with it, stay confident, get down to the table, start explaining it to them. And they're like, oh, I don't want to do this right now. I don't know. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And then next thing you know, they're giving me their credit card, and I'm telling them the technician's on the way, and all these things. And another example is, don't be rude to people, but don't ever believe that people don't have money, because if you know what you're doing is going to help them and it's worth having, if they have the money for it, if they truly need what you have, then they will have the money for it. Because I was setting up people with a $4,000 alarm system in their house.
Say that again.
Where we paid
I can hear it. Say that saying again, because I didn't tell you to say that. Say that again very clearly, because so many people, as soon as they hear I don't know, we give up and we start going somewhere else. You've gotten 10 no's from one person, but you still stayed persistent. You didn't take it personal. But say what you just...
Well, I'd actually had someone tell me no 13 times before they said yes. Wow. I guess 13 is my lucky number, so...
Okay. Say what you just said.
But
don't ever believe...
So I don't ever listen to if what you have to offer, if what you have to offer is going to help someone, and you know that it's going to help them, and you know that they need it, don't listen to them when they say they don't have the money, because they're just giving you a smokescreen. Just like when people say, well, I mean, in this case, it's a little bit different because I was knocking doors. But for example, when people were saying, oh, I'm not interested. Yeah, that's fine. But the thing is, I know what I'm doing is helping people, and I know people love what I have to offer. So them saying not interested, I mean, it's their loss, but I'm going to make them listen to me either way. And if it doesn't work for them, then it's fine. For example, like people would say, you know, because I'm there for alarms, and they'll say, yeah, I have dogs. They're like, yeah, I have dogs. I don't need an alarm. I'm like, oh yeah, that's completely fine. Does your dog bark? And then and then they're like, yeah, of course. And I was like, awesome. We wouldn't want to pick anybody out here or work with anybody out here who's actually not artist security conscious. Or sometimes I would even say, it's really funny, I would say, so they say I have a dog, and I say, yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially out here in Texas, you guys probably have guns as well. But the biggest thing is that people haven't actually figured out how to train their dogs on how to use the guns. So that's why they send me out here. And it's just having fun with it. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me realizing at the end was just be confident, stay relaxed.
Stay relaxed.
And like, why should you do that? And I wrote, you know, worrying about the what ifs will only get in your way. And be yourself. Stop trying to fit inside of a cookie cutter of what you think something should look like, of what you think a salesperson should look like, or what you think, you know, the ideal person who's going to run your business should look like. I mean, well, that's kind of I guess that's kind of iffy what I just said there, but stop trying to fit inside of a cookie cutter of, you know, what you think should be. Just be yourself. I mean, follow a process. Well, create a process, follow the process, be yourself in the process. I guess you could say be the process.
Be the process.
Don't
and know your numbers.
Don't try and.
That's something I think you did, is you knew your numbers. You knew how many houses you knocked before you could talk, and how many people you talked to before you knew your numbers. And it's real simple. It's not like knowing big budgets or anything. But go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to
No, it's fine.
Go ahead.
No, I don't remember what I was going to say. Go ahead.
Sorry. Well, I like that. No, create a process, do the process, and be the process. And it is about a process. It's not about waking up and just going, oh, I think I'm going to do something today. You really did. You had sales meetings every day with your team before you would go out on the streets, because it's a hard job. By halfway through the summer, 50% of the kids had been sent home because they were not selling, right?
Yeah, we started off with 57 guys, I believe is what it was. We ended with 36.
Wow.
So a lot of them ended up going home because they couldn't handle it, or they got sent home because, again, they couldn't handle it and they weren't able to meet up to the. I mean, but by that point, you know, if they didn't have sales, they weren't working. But that's besides the point. But I think the biggest thing was just to know, just to have a knowingness. You know what you want, and again, let go of form. Just know that it's going to happen, because no matter what it was, for example, getting into school, going out there and selling alarms, I was like, I can't imagine selling an alarm. I can't imagine knocking on someone's door, getting inside their house, and then closing them after, you know, they're giving me a 5-year contract of $69 a month. So I just made the company about $4,000 after being with them for an hour. Just that whole idea. I'm still thinking about it now. It's kind of an abstract concept. Thinking about it then, it didn't make any sense to me, but just letting go of the form of the how and just deciding that it was going to happen. And, you know, no matter how it was going to happen, it was going to happen. I just decided that it was going to happen. And I went out there, and I stuck to it. And again, I didn't sell anything for a month and a half. And I just stuck to it. I was sure that I was going to figure it out. I was like, I was going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out no matter what. And I mean, it was hard going a month and a half with no sales, because you think about it, you're knocking 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, so 70 hours a week, something like that, for 6 weeks and not making any money. It's and then being really tan. It it's definitely, it takes a toll on you, but then you just got to realize that you can't stop 3 feet before the gold. But I do feel like I am getting a little bit repetitive here. I think we can open it up for questions for a couple minutes.
That's what I just sent out a message to everyone. So thank you for staying on a little bit longer. I know there's like all these freshman girls waiting or whatever it is that you have to go do. But I want to please raise your hand. I'd like to open it up for questions for him. Just raise your hand on the panel and I will unmute you and you can ask questions. And we'll have a few minutes. We'll take a few questions and then we're going to let him go. So let's see. You would just raise your hand on the, here we go. All right, we got Tracy Sherman. You're off of mute. Tracy, you there? I unmuted you, Tracy. You may need to unmute your phone. There you go. No? Trace? Trace? Okay, something happened. It looked like it went offline. Any more questions? If they need what you have, they will have the money for it, is what he said first. Yeah. Anybody else want to ask any questions? You just raise your hand and I will take you off of mute. Tracy, you're off of mute, by the way. I'll put you back on mute, and if you have any questions, I'll put it back on. Johnny, let me see if Johnny's there. Johnny Regan, are you there? Can you hear me?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Johnny. Thank you for being
here. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, I don't have a question. I have an observation, though. Well, and I'll speak to you, Shelley, because it could be too much to come straight at him. I spent, I don't know, we had a few lunches and dinners and a bunch of phone calls, conversations, that Super Bowl party, and, I observed your son, very clearly. I'm an observer. Yeah. And I listened. Mostly he just, mostly Caleb spoke, even at that dinner on in Boca Raton at that beautiful lounge outside there, Caleb.
I remember that.
Yeah, he has a gift that if we adults could learn it, he is an adult, but he had this at 17. He was just turning 18. And that is my observation of your son is he is fully authentically himself. Fully authentically himself. Mm-hmm. Now that is a gift. I don't know where he learned it. But if
Thank
we
you, John.
yeah, you're welcome. And it gets rid of all the time wasters of what is it, primping and prissing and who are we and how do we look and how are we coming across. He just kept moving forward in all of our conversations and all our discussions about vision, about his future, where he's going, what he's thinking. So that's just a compliment I wanted to give to you, Caleb, and to you also.
Thank you so much, Johnny.
You're welcome.
Influence in his life, and
so awesome to hear from you.
Now, you're a huge influence with helping him develop his vision of what it was, and it continues to grow and change, and it blows me away hearing some of the stuff he does or when he talks what he talks about, because I've had 46 years to mess myself up, right? I'm still trying to understand. And I only had 16 to mess him up, so it took him less time. But just him being able to be around you, the ultimate visionary, was really cool. So he had, for me, like I get, even tonight on this call, I get these compliments from people go, wow, you're a great mom, great job. And I really feel guilty when I hear that because I don't feel like I did such a great job. But one thing I know that I did do is when I didn't think that I was being a great mom, I just got him around the right people. I just got him into the right environment. I took him to positive environments, whether he liked it or not. And when strangers started telling him he was awesome, he started believing it. And that's, if I did anything right, I think it was really putting him in the right environment around the right people. I will take credit for that because I drove. But thank you for being here. I just wanted to say that.
Thanks again, Johnny.
You're
Thanks so
welcome.
much.
We got a
You're
couple
welcome.
more questions. Thanks, Johnny. I'm going to put you back on mute. And let's see, we got Tracy is back. Let me see if she can hear now. Tracy, you're off of mute. You have to unmute your, there you go. You just unmuted yourself. Yeah, no, I can't hear you. And I saw you unmute it. So she wrote a question, Caleb, because I can't hear her. She said, what, and I know this is Tracy. So Tracy used to work for Sotheby's and made a lot of money. She sold a lot. She worked on Princess Diana's estate when she worked for another company. Now she has her own business. And a lot of the stuff that you were saying, I knew was resonating with her, but she wants to know what was the turning point that helped you start selling?
Turning point.
Yeah.
All right, there I go with again. And I just did it again. Let me see. Realizing, just taking the pressure off, just realizing that you are good at what you do, because you wouldn't be doing it if you weren't good at it. And you just chill out, just relax, and just stay confident, and just let it happen. Because the thing is, if no one, you think about it, you go to Walmart and you have a guy trying to sell you, just say, I'm thinking of a guy from Walmart who tried selling me Verizon internet or something. And he's like, come on, man, why don't you want to buy it? Why not? Why not? Kind of thing. And, and not necessarily saying that, but he feels that energy about you, or you feel that energy about him or her or whatever it is. People don't want to buy from that, but just realizing that whatever you're doing, and I'm not saying that you are doing this or not, but this is what helped me, realizing that what I was doing is I had been doing it long enough that I'm obviously skilled at what I was doing.
Yeah, she says after that month and a half, when you had a month and a half of no sales and then it just turned for you, that's what she wants to know what that was. And you may be.
That's what it was. It was just relaxing. And it was relaxing and realizing that I'm good at what I'm doing. It's one thing going out there not knowing anything and there's a learning process, but there comes, the learning process turns into a knowing process, and you just have to know that you already know what you need to know. Now you just need to just relax and take the pressure off of saying, what else do I need to learn? Why isn't this working? When you don't need to learn anything else, you just need to relax.
That's a good advice for her, actually. Oh, and what did you learn from the daily meetings? What did she wants to know? What did you learn from the daily meetings?
The daily meeting, well, it was different every single day. I think the biggest thing would be different types of experiences, because obviously selling door to door, there's lots of things that are completely different, but there's a lot of underlying things. So we would talk about a couple different things and get help on this, on what to say and this and that, and how to work with single spouses when their husband's at work, or how to deal with the cops, or how to.
We're already accustomed to that.
Just different things. And the biggest thing is, having a good leader that is talking about what I'm talking about right now, just telling us that he's coming from a place of telling us that we're already good at what we're doing. Mm-hmm. We're already good at it, and we already know what we need to know. We just need to relax and just let things happen, because whatever you're doing, you're the best at what you do. There's no one else in the world that can do what you do. What does Tracy do again? I'm sorry.
And you're very right. She is a jewelry buyer and appraiser for jewelry and art and antiques, and she works with babies. Yeah, you know Tracy. Tracy.
Okay, yeah, no, I remember. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're the best at what you do. There's only one of you. There's no one else that can be like you. But again, there's no reason for you to be like anyone else. Just know that whatever you're doing, you are the best at it. and just to relax and take the pressure off. And
So there's tons of time
I hope that answers
to
the
know
question.
everything. So there's a lot of people out there who get stuck in perfect and they feel like they need to know everything, learn everything, have the perfect website, have the perfect business card, have the perfect everything, and they never make money.
Yeah, exactly. Was that a question or was
No,
it a
I was
statement?
hoping you would add on to that. Is just they're just
Oh, okay.
time that you just don't need to know or learn everything, and you just got to go do, right? And know that it's good enough. It's good enough, perfect enough for now. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Right. And everything is exactly the way that it should be all the time. Right now, then we've talked. I think we talked about this at our event that we were just at pretty recently. You only know what you know right then, and you can't control what you don't know or what you want to know. You only know what you know, so everything is perfect, and you're amazing at what you do. And anything that you're going to learn, you're going to learn along the way, but take the pressure off of what I need to learn, instead of, take the pressure off of, like, this is what I need to learn, this is why I can't do this is why I can't do that. Just take it from a place of, I can do this, I am doing this, and I'm going to learn things along the way.
I love that. All right, thank you. I've got two more questions. Hopefully, Tracy, that answers your question. Otherwise, Tracy can call you. Let's see. Sheila Finkelstein, I'm taking you off mute. Are you there? And then we have.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi. How are you?
Great, great, thanks. This was wonderful, Caleb. Amazing. I was an art educator for 7 years and then got trained in outside sales. So I did door-to-door sale to businesses. So I really acknowledge you for what you were doing, what you did, and your growth. And I took a page of
Thank you.
notes. So
Thank you so much.
my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for your authentic sharing. And I did want to ask Shelley, both of you, either of you, had said that after Suzanne Evans' thing, you went out and had a big, I forget what you said, were the dollars in sales or whatever
It
you
was
did. What?
our event. We had. So this is a. I hope Suzanne Evans is not on the call. I'm going to tell you what we did.
I
Suzanne.
know Suzanne,
Yeah.
so I've been to her thing.
She came and spoke at our event, and she's also a business coach. So, strategically, some people thought that wasn't a very good move for me to have another business coach at my event speaking. But my way of looking at it was, you know what, you might be right. She's an awesome $7 million coach. She knows her stuff. However,
Right.
my goal was to provide the best speakers with the best resources for the people who were there, and I knew she had a powerful message. And if I can get Suzanne Evans on my stage, I'm going to do it. My coach said strategically, you need to put your son on stage after her to diffuse that excitement because it is your event. And he did an amazing job. And that was genius when you take your son and put him on stage following up after Suzanne Evans. Uh,
Right.
and he did, and he did a good job. What it does, it brought everybody back to why we're really here. Because Suzanne knows how to motivate, a whole world. And
Right.
and then so she was done. She left, and then Caleb had his talk, and my coach put Caleb on stage after her, which really helped bring the entire event back to we're here for Destined Entrepreneur. This is why we're here, and it's for Shelley and Caleb to support you guys and provide resources. It's not the Suzanne show anymore, and I was still able to bring one of the best speakers, in because of it, and it's not about competition, it's about co-opetition. But he was
Right.
engaged with Suzanne, which is really cool.
And so then ultimately, what were you selling? Or that was
My 3-day event, and the ultimate thing that we were selling at that event and that we still do is our C-suite mastermind and mentoring coaching program, which is a $15,000 program, and it helps business owners add 6 figures to their business, whether they're just starting out or they already have a business. The whole program is designed to add 6 figures. And Tracy Sherman, who's actually asking the questions, is in the C-suite. And we have our mastermind coming up this weekend. But that's what we were selling that weekend, and we had quite a few people sign up, and we're now on that journey with them, and several of them are actually on this call. And
oh great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that. And Caleb, what do you have up for school? Are you going to be totally focusing in school, or what's next for you? You're going to be doing speaking too, or
What was that question? You
What's
cut out for a
for
second.
you? She wants to know.
what's up for you now? Total focus on school, or you also what piece of business you can plan to continue while you're
Well,
going to?
so I'm going to school now. I have about 2 months off. I can start selling door to door again come October. So I'll probably knock 1 day a week. I plan on, I mean, I don't know exactly what I'm doing yet, but I mean, what I think I'm going to do is, I mean, I am interning with Speaking Empire, so we'll see where that goes. Who knows where that's going to go? I mean, that's obviously a blessing in itself. But I'm gonna, one way or another, I'm gonna do that, and then come October, I'm gonna start selling 1 day a week, just to bring some extra cash and see what happens, and if it's possible, and I can still maintain school, Speaking Empire, and selling for Vivint, I'm gonna go back out next summer with the team to wherever they're going. To definitely make a lot more money, because even having a preseason is what we call it. It gives me a lot of momentum going into the summer, so there's definitely a chance. I mean, my goal is to make $100,000 next year, or within the next year. So, that's my plan.
Sounds cool to me, but I know that you
Great,
can
that's
do
yes.
it. That would make me very happy. I think that would be awesome.
You'll retire with your son's income, huh, Shelley?
I know. It sounds weird for your 19-year-old to say that, but if anybody can do it, it's him, because he's that person that he believes in what he's going to do so much that he puts in the effort of two and he gets four back. It's amazing. Where the rest of us, we talk ourselves out of shit, and he just says, "I'm going to do this," and he does it, and it's awesome. Also, we have some events coming up that we're going to be doing together, which is Speak, Sell, Serve, and they're one-day events. And anybody who was on the call tonight, we're going to be giving them free tickets to those. Speak, Sell, Serve is going to be done here in South Florida and also in St. Pete a couple of times between now and March. We have one coming up next month, and he'll be part of that. And that's where we teach people how to speak, to convert, how to sell, especially when you're speaking from the heart, of course, and then how to serve your clients by putting in systems in place so you can actually do what you love to do. And Kayla will be a part of that as well, and a couple of other things that we may do. But I created this business so that I could have the freedom to be with the people that I love, which is him. And if we can all create a business to go around what it is that we love to do, what else is there? I mean, that's like the best thing in the whole world, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Any more questions?
I got Sandra is the last one, I think. If anyone has any questions, raise your hand. Otherwise, I'm going to open it up to Sandra. Thank you so much, Sheila, for being here. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Sheila.
All right. And Sandra, you're off of mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh my goodness, that is really spooky.
What
I'm
is
sorry I got onto the webinar late. I missed all of it, although I've heard your story before, Caleb, and I'm very
I
excited.
recognize that voice.
She was at BC with us last week.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I know exactly who you are now.
Yes, the crybaby.
Okay, yeah. Now I definitely remember.
Yes, I managed to get my husband to work on some real estate stuff tonight. So once I had him captured, I said I'd better take advantage of that, and then I jumped on the minute he walked out the door. So you and I both have $100,000 goals for next year. So,
That's awesome.
I'm going to be sending you vibes. You send me vibes. Together, we're going to climb the mountain and we're going to make the moolah. How does that sound?
It sounds amazing.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Yes. So I really don't have a question other than I'm so grateful that you have turned out to be the young man that you've turned out to be. Your mother is so proud. And it's so exciting to see you climbing the ladder of success through working and speaking and door knocking and selling and I don't think I ever told either of you the story, but when I was in college, I went door knocking as well, and I was selling Salad Master cookware, waterless cookware, very expensive set. Did that, went to
Wow.
people's homes, cooked meals, and sold cookware later on. I sold Caraco, crystal china, and cookware door to door also again. So I've done my share of door knocking. So
Very good.
it's
Wow,
it's
that's
really
awesome.
it's really a great way to meet people and build up your own confidence. Because if you can do that, you can do anything.
Great. So I need to get you to start doing door knocking, Sandra.
I will be doing door knocking for my real estate business. Don't laugh. That is
Yeah.
definitely
All right.
Hey,
on the
mom,
radar
mom, you
screen.
should you should hire some people to knock door to door for my personal business coach.
Okay.
I
Businesses.
don't.
They'd have to knock business.
I don't think so. No,
I
door
don't
knocking is
that.
not
I don't need to
appropriate
do
for
that
that.
because all the right people come, right? All of the right people. Every new client we get, each one is more and more perfect every single time. For me, for them, and them for me, and we just help each other. And you've met a lot of the
Mhm.
Caleb, and you see how wonderful they are, and they're truly amazing human beings. And I'm super awesomely grateful. It's been really cool. So I'm like,
Absolutely. Well, it was awesome. I mean, thank you for having me on here, and this was definitely, this call was amazing, and I hope everyone else enjoyed it as much as I did. And if anybody has any questions for me after, they can feel free to email me at calebsadvice@gmail.com.
mhm.
And then same thing with my mom. You can always just email her, and she can get to me. Um, and
And we want them to
yeah,
come out.
and we're giving them free tickets, right?
We're going to give them free tickets
Sure.
to Speak Sell Serve. Everyone who came onto the call, I'll send them a link. And then if anybody here does not have his book, do you still have a special? And I'll put the link out if they want to get the book, and you can autograph them. And they can, I know a lot of people gave them as gifts. They're not necessarily for teens, they're for adults. And it helps adults understand their teens. So what are you going to
Yeah,
do that for? And I'll put you tell me what you want to sell your books for. I'll put it in the link, and if somebody wants it, they can get it, and you can autograph them if you want.
Caleb, what is your email address? You said it so quickly.
Caleb's advice.
Caleb,
Caleb's
calebsadvice@gmail.com.
Hmm.
Woo! All right. Very cool.
So I'm going to be selling my book, 1 for 20 or 2 for 30. And then, yeah, let's go with that. I think that's a good deal.
Okay, and that includes shipping and everything. You'll autograph it.
Yeah,
Whoever,
absolutely.
if you want them to, if they want you to send it to someone as a gift from them, you can do. Would you do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Perfect.
Definitely, whatever you need, just clarify what you need, because it's kind of hard to read mine through emails. So, with that said, just or whatever it is, yeah, there will be a link. She'll send out a link, then she'll also send out the free tickets as well. But again, if anybody has any questions for me, feel free to email me. And if you want to work with us or work with me, email me for that as well, because I'm definitely open to new opportunities every single day. With that said, it was awesome talking to everyone.
I wanted.
By the way, how many people were on the call? I'm just curious.
I don't have an accurate count. When I print out the report, I'll let you know. There's Yasmin, who is in the Netherlands. She said that she didn't ask a question because she's trying. Everyone is asleep, and she's trying to keep it quiet because it's 2:25 a.m. there. But she wanted to thank Caleb a lot for your insight and hearing from another teen perspective. It gives her that extra motivation to work hard and continue the path that she's on. So Caleb, give a shout out to Yasmin, who called in at 2.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing, Yasmin. Definitely stay positive and keep moving forward, and email me, and maybe I'll have to come out to the Netherlands.
Hopefully that's not near Amsterdam. He's been wanting to get over there for a while. And then Natsona just said, truly inspired. Thank you for sharing your awesome experience. And she actually has a VIP day with me next week, and she's working her way out of corporate. So that's awesome. All right, everybody, thank you so
Awesome.
much for being here. I can
Thank you, everyone.
with my son. I love him more than anything in the world. He is truly an empathetic, compassionate soul who cares about the world more than anything. And I know that like his passion is if he can make a difference, he will do it. So if there's anything he can do to help you with your cause, that's in line with how he can add value to the world, let us know because I know he's interested in doing that kind of stuff. And
And she's really busy too, so feel free to email me if it's super important.
all right, perfect.
uh,
All right, all
all
right.
right,
I love you.
thank you. Thank you, everyone. I love you, Mom. I'll
Love
talk to you
you.
later.
Bye bye. All right, everyone, have a great night, and thank you so much for being here. It was my honor to spend this time with you and with him, and I just want to thank you for being here and being part of it. Have a great night. Talk to you soon.